So please, have a great time.
Somos chicanas. Thank you, Dulce, for opening the doors to this beautiful space, this beautiful gallery. The Chicanas exhibit, when I first saw it, just blew my mind, and it was like the universe aligned it for us. The important message from Dulce.
In true measure of Mexican time. I want to say thank you to Esmoa. Esmoa is the only museum in the South Bay. And I remember coming with Margaret Garcia and we started having this conversation, Margaret's piece right there. And I said, yeah. And then we said, hey, we want to have Chicana show, what's up? And then they said, yeah, you have it. And with El Camino College, so we leave here grateful. Our heart is full. Esmoa, and El Camino, but a little bit of Esmoa is that it's awesome. So that, I just didn't want the night to go by without acknowledging and with all our heart.
Yes.
With this Esmoa, come check us out too, because come over and read with us. We have a natural cool. That is
Beautiful space.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Esmoa. Thank you, El Camino College. Thank you, Dulce Stein. I just also want to acknowledge the amazing work and visionary leadership from our editor, Luz Shui. I want you to go louder for me because she's on the Zoom right now. Is on the East Coast, so she goes hard for Somos Chicanas. It's been just an honor to work with her, and it was an honor to be a contributor in this piece, and then to hold it as the publisher. It's like exponential power. So thank you so much to Luz. We love you. Thank you for believing in our work. And I know my other sister sibling contributors will also give their thanks and honor to Luz. All right, we're gonna open up with a little bit of music to get this party started. All the way from the east side of LA County. I met this powerhouse musician, creator at Casa Verde in Sejatna, Whittier, where I'm from. So everyone give it up for Indica.
Congratulations on everything as well. It's a beautiful space. I don't have the strap for my, is there any way I
Can we bring this shirt?
Yeah, we have to. Wow. And I actually like this. Yeah. A little small. Okay, I'm gonna play Cinnamon Baby. It's an original song.
Thank you to Indigo. Let's give it up one more time. We got an amazing lineup of contributors tonight from the Somos Chicanas anthology. We are at 80+ contributors in multiple genres. We got poetry in the house. We got nonfiction, creative nonfiction writers. And we've got excerpts and flash fiction as well in this beautiful collection. So you're gonna hear a little bit of everything. I'm gonna go ahead and open us up. I'm a poet primarily, although sometimes it sounds like I'm preaching, so full disclosure. Feel free to holler back. This is a piece, it's an ekphrastic poem, which means it's a poem that was inspired by a work of art by Master Chicano artist Rick Ortega called The Resurrection of Mayahuel. Ode to the Resurrection of Mayahuel. 1. Allow me to take you on a spiritual trip. Allow me to remind you it's okay to die and be born again. Allow your thick, leathery leaves to burst through the verdant tierra. Learn to fly again and be full of joy, wonder, and laughter. Allow me to blow a gentle whisper into your ear. Beloved, do not fear. Mi agua miel flows pure and clear. It unlocks the truth. 2. I almost stayed silent. I almost stayed dead. I almost gave way to the desperate voices inside my head. In the chrysalis of the earth, Madre Tierra held me tight. She whispered, Mija, it's okay to fall apart. Mija, it's okay to give up this fight. In the dankest dark, in the womb that is our mother, Tlaloc poured out his waters to accompany my tears. Myself disintegrated, I dissolved into the amniotic fluid of the womb. My spirit danced with the shadows and gloom. It was then I remembered my celestial home. Winter's circle of the sky still swam in me. I locked myself in the story chamber for what felt like forever. I remembered how carefree and promising life seemed to be. Then I remembered the brood of vipers in my own household, in the church, the predators lurking in the shadows, the stares and whispers that made me cross the street, the wolves in sheep's clothing who know nothing about no, stop, please, don't put it in. So I fell down to my knees and asked for mercy, and a new life came calling for me. 3. My beloved and I, plumed serpent, flew high in the midnight sky. A hecato brushes my cheek with his lips, a sweet serpent's kiss. It's divine love that creates and resuscitates this. Diosa desmembrada, hueso y polvo, se convierte en agave una madrugada. Vivas se fueron y vivas las queremos. 4. We're tired of saying me too.
Yes.
We're tired of having to stand before you and shout out what's true. Tired of holding the shame within, the anger too. What would you do? Would you speak your truth? Las hijas de Mayahuel, we rise like smoke. Our power, it burns your throat. We hold you accountable for what you've done, generation upon generation, not just one mother's son. A legion of demons have violated even little ones. We're tired of saying me too. Yes. The truth is, we just want to live, to rise in the morning with the heaviness of eyelids, not our hearts, not these bodies. Hear sensones sing their song. Fill plumed serpent's kiss, again and again, as a hecato carries us to shelter. Isn't that our birthright? 5. My sacred rage runs through these veins. My sacred rage discards these chains. What liquid rising, donancing, fighting, all through these days, you feel our pain. My daughters are now unleashed, polvo of our bones will speak. Mujer desmembrada, resucitada, mujer fructífera y poderosa, vámonos del camino dolorosa, agua miel corre por nuestras venas. You cannot stop our resurrection. Great Spirit is our protection. There is power in the words we say. We burn Palo Santo and Grandfather Sage. We whisper one to another, Mija, vuelva tu sombra. Mija, speak your own name, your power, your light, your dark, your beauty, your fight are here to stay. Rosalia Mendoza, Alice, all the way from Stanford by way of the valley. Rosalia is going to share a little verse with you.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Or to the vines, a ver. A little too cute.
Wow, look at this picture in front of me. Can we just take a picture?
Yes, yes.
Right here. This is so beautiful. Everybody give yourselves a hand for being here. And I just want to honor all the mujeres that are in this book, all the ones that came from far, from El Paso, the 818, all the 818 too. Along in Stanford, this has been my schooling, my community, my poetry. Your poetry is my education. So with that, I would love to dedicate this for you. Sempasuchi. Flor de muerto marigold, this is how I know you. Yellow to brighten our sorrow, strong scent to ward off the decaying. I didn't know your petals were edible until I saw a reel on IG with the recipe, atole de cempasúchil. How the cocinero molía tus pétalos en un molcajete de maíz, or con maíz. How long have you been around, Sempa? Your name is Sochi.
Let's just, here, let's just get the Bluetooth. Oh, here, mute, I'm muted.
Official, sacred, returning. Well, we all know our inevitable truth. What is birth on Mother Earth will be swallowed by her one day. The least I can offer is my bones for all that she has given me. Clothes, food, shelter, water. I wonder what you think about rent and bills and discrimination and consumption. Pretty flower, have we forgotten our highest purpose? Sempa, will you help us remember? Thank you. Our voices are weapon, our voices are power. So remember to always use your voice wherever you are. And if you've never written poetry, just pick up a pen. I didn't know I was a poet until I was 26. And my comadre who's back there recording me, she was my witness and she's here. I love you, comadre. The indigenized. Forgive me for not knowing my native tongue, for not practicing the 1,000-year-old rituals my grandmothers recognized as their own heartbeats. Dirt was replaced by marble and concrete sidewalks. My steps forgot the earth. I wish I could remember. Seeds of wisdom fell through the drains of colonization. Dark brown hair now dyed with golden hues of erasure. Forgive me for embracing alien ways as if they were my own. Red, white, and blue cannot tuck me at night. Red, white, and green cannot sun kiss me in the morning. But no, I am not an orphan. I know who my mother is. My bones have not forgotten. Thank you.
Lily of the Valley, thank you.
Class, we're taking.
You have to be in it, Brenda.
Come on, Brenda. Okay. Hey, Chicana, don't go Chicana. Thank you. He's gonna take a better picture.
I love how we all like to take up space. And we should. That's good. All right, all the way from Northridge? Hollywood. Hollywood, even better. Maria Elena Fernandez, la profesora, welcome to the mic.
Such an honor. I want to give my profound thanks to Luz, our editor, and to Brenda, our publisher, for their dedication and sacrifice. So much sacrifice that Luz is ill and can't be with us. So Luz, we love you and we appreciate you. Thank you. I decided not to read my contribution from the anthology because I wanted to use my 5 minutes to honor my father. Tonight, it's been 5 years since he's been gone, and also to remind everybody and encourage everybody to do your family history. We don't know who we are if we don't know who our parents truly are, and the grandparents. So here goes. Oh, breaking the cycle. Everyone says it. I look just like my mother. The fair skin, large dark eyes, and wild black hair. The gene for my father's red Indian skin skipped me. And no one notices. I have his long, strong nose and his full, plush lips. And I want to know where this nose and this mouth come from. But my father never speaks about his past. Why do you want to know? He asks. There are things in our family that are shameful. I press the 2 red buttons on the tape recorder. He hesitates, then tells me. My great-grandmother was from Tlaxcuapan, Hidalgo. 4 children fathered by 4 different men. One of them by the hacendado. She gave them all his name. When the children were still very little, she packed them up and moved to the capital. And I am sure In the city's anonymity, my great-grandmother recast her life, told her new neighbors she was a widow, and to prove her upright character, raised her children to be models of Mexican politeness and Catholic propriety. Sent my grandmother to La Corregidora, famous for domestic schooling. My father tells me his father was from Huehuetlán, a fruit tree-filled valley in Puebla. Orphaned, his grandparents raised him. He ran away at 13 because they were so strict with him. Went to work at a hotel in the city of Puebla. Remained illiterate all his life, my father says. But I already know. Because I asked my tia Paz last time I was in Mexico. So when my father says they were very strict with him, I nod and answer, yes, they would hit him a lot. He ran away because he lost the sheep he was tending, and he was afraid of what they would do to him if he returned. Do you know how they would punish him? I asked my father. They would hang him by his wrists from a mango tree, hollow out the ground beneath him, and burn chiles to make it hard for him to breathe. Que salvajes, whispered my father. But he got away. My grandfather got away. And the illiterate orphaned peasant transformed himself into a big city dandy. When he walked back down the road on his visits to Huehuetlán, from afar they couldn't make out his face, but they knew. Ahí va Joaquin. Recognizing his slick city fashion. He moved to Mexico City and waited tables at the Country Club para Extranjeros. Learned the order of the dishes as listed on the menu. So when the French ambassador pointed to his selection, my grandfather knew exactly what to bring him. During the revolution, he worked as a cook on the trains. That's where I get my traveler's spirit. A few minutes after I flip over the 90-minute tape, turn off the recorder, I don't ask my father about the other things my tia Paz told me. That my grandfather used to hit my grandmother, my tia Lupe, and my father. There are things in our family that are shameful, but I am not ashamed, because now I understand why you never spoke to us. Locked yourself in your room, let mommy raise us. It was better not to talk to us, play with us, discipline us. It was better to stay away from us. It was your way of breaking the cycle. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mariana. So much power in this room and in these pages, and beyond these pages as well. I believe so wholeheartedly that our people are so talented and we have a lot to say, and it's our time to say it. Christiane. All right, all the way from El Paso. I think Christiane gets the prize for coming to the harvest tonight. Christiane Williams.
Hi, everybody, how y'all doing tonight? Yeah, I love you all. This poem that I have published with Somos Chicanas, I use this space to speak for my students. It's for them, past, present, and future. It's called Los Pajaritos. 1,000 miles between the classroom seat and the place they call home, the roar of migration and the never-ending span of merciless desert. These are my people, hungry for safety, our children forcibly tossed into iron cages or pinched by bear traps left by men in green uniforms. Here they come to my classroom to learn the difference between here, as in here, you can stay, and here, as in open your hearts and hear my words. My classroom is sacred. Here no hands will take them in the night. Here it's all right to rest their heads on a desk. I will drown out the shouts that say send them back. I will hold the door open so more can make nests, for birds are meant to move with the changing seasons. This next one I dedicate to my grandmother. I climbed the highest mountain peak to the place your soul became unthreaded from your body. I worry that you've chosen to linger here, or worse, you have no say in the matter. So here you must stay. I climb my way up, trying to give myself as offering. Perhaps you can bind into me. I look out over the city. The quiet twinkling and the soft breeze compels me to reflect. From here I can see the way back to your first home. There at rest across miles of scorching deserts and wild palo verdes. Such cruelty to look and never touch precious lands. Here I fall apart, admitting how lost I am. Just as the sun sets, hummingbirds chirp, asking me what it is I hope to achieve. Because here there's no more pain, just stillness, a place unruined by filth and man-made problems. Maybe you don't look out with tortured longing. Maybe here you breathe fresh air into your phantom lungs as the vast rotating heavens continue on until eternity. And with that, I am comforted. However, as I make my way back down, I'm still hoping I brought you with me. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, Christiane. And Christiane helped out with that beautiful mic decoration. No, I mean, I had an idea, but there was no way I could execute it. Angela Sanchez, where are you at? There you are. All right, all the way from Glen, is it Glenda?
I grew up in London.
Hey, welcome to the mic, Angela Sanchez.
Hello, good evening. I have a confessional. I am not a poet. So just so we're clear, mine is a bit of creative nonfiction, but I am not someone who typically does poetry or spoken word poetry. My day job is I'm an animation writer. And I worked on a show, maybe some of you have heard of it. It's on Disney Channel and Disney Plus called Primos. Cousins, I've been lots and lots of cousins, and our main character, Tater, like potato. Tater is about to turn 10 this summer, and she wants to spend the time reflecting and writing in her journal and being, really like alone by herself. And then her mom comes over, kicks down the door, and says, "You can kiss that alone time goodbye, mija. Your 12 primos are coming to spend the whole summer with us. Is that great?" And Taylor just freaks out because suddenly she's now surrounded by all these young kids who all know who they are, and she's trying to figure out who she is. Tater is an Osabo kid, and this will tie back into the piece here. Our show got a lot of flack about that at the beginning because Disney doesn't know how to promote a Chicano show. And I think I can say that so that they're recorded. But I want to make that clear because the main refrain of our theme song is Oye Primos. Oye singular, not conjugate to oigan. And so, and there are 12 primos. And so we got a lot of blowback because Disney never said, this is a Mexican-American show set in Southern California. Instead, we were asked, is this a Mexican show? No. And doesn't anyone know how to speak Spanish in that room? Why is this main character teaching the children such improper Spanish? And so, I did also, I was the No Sabo in residence on that show, and I wrote an episode titled Summer of No Sabo. So on that note, the piece here, I want to share with you is called Proper Spanish. A little bit of context on this, by the way, this was originally written, regarding the ever ongoing controversy of the term Latinx. And it was also written during the height of hashtag Dignidad Literaria, a movement that was talking about why is it that writers are paid over 7 figures to tell Latinx stories? At the time, the novel at the center of that was American Dirt. And this was originally read during a section that Sochi held over at Roman's bookstore. So I am proud to be able to share this and bring this full circle into here. All right, here we go. So the year is 1971, and I hear there's a new word on the street. It's gotten really popular lately, mostly to refer to a specific group of people who in particular look like me, like my mom and dad, like some of the people in my neighborhood. This popular word, it's meant to be a collective term. Really, it started out pretty low key. In fact, before it got thrown all around the way it is now, this word had actually been around for a good 20 years now. And it's just now that, man, now it's all over the place. People are putting it in flyers for community meetings, on protest signs y todo. Like I said, this word got popular real fast. It's weird. What's weird is that some of the people in our community don't much like this word, the elders especially. They say it's insulting, that you don't want to be saddled with that made-up butcher term. It's not even proper Spanish. And I'm here like, what is proper Spanish? A Castilian lisp? The proper conjugation of vosotros? I have to hold not one, but 2 colonizing languages in my head at once. And you're saying I have to treat them with some kind of respect? Bless. Anyway, this new word is for me and my people. All right, y'all know the word I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
It's Chicano.
Yes.
What, was there another word you're expecting? Like I said, the year is 1971. We are 450 years removed from the fall of Tenochtitlan to some dude who spoke proper Spanish. It was this guy, his cronies, and the power overseas that they represented who gave us things like smallpox, syphilis, and a caste system that said the fairer skinned you are, the closer to God. You want to know why people don't like the word Chicano? Chicano has its roots in the word Mexicano. You all know who Mexicanos were. No, not Mexicans, like the way it's written here. Or rather, not just any Mexican. Remember the Mexica? Say Mexica. Oh, thank you. The pronunciation guy. Who lived in Tenochtitlan, or as someone out there might say, the Aztecs. Mexica is where Mexico comes from. Mexicano was the Spanish way of referring to Mexica people. If someone spoke Mexican or Mexicano, that meant they weren't speaking Spanish, but a native language like Nahuatl, Mixteco, Mam, or Zapotec. A Mexicano is a native person. Guess who isn't fair-skinned and therefore distant from a white god? Mexicanos. But that's probably why some folks don't like the word, right? They're clinging to what they can of a Spaniard. Don't want to mess him up. Need to keep that saber clean for the next time he wants to eviscerate you, to cut out your tongue and suture his in its place. Nowadays, April 10th, 1971, we're over 20 years from when Pachuco started reclaiming Chicano as our own. To be proud of our skin, our imperfect tongues, our demands for decency, equality, and dignity. Dignity's a pretty significant word too. Dignity means getting to have an equal, unsegregated education. Most people know about Brown versus Board, but they don't usually know about Mendez versus Westminster, how it set precedent for all of 10 years prior, thanks to our Chicanos in Orange County. Dignity means getting to be represented as how you see yourself, not how the creators of Frito Bandido see you as some caricature standing on American dirt. Dignity means having your voice heard. If you're good enough to be Ken, fodder, and nom, then you should be good enough to hold office, to demand basic civil and human rights. Instead, in many cases, our voices and our advocates are silenced with violence. It was just last summer, the LA Times journalist Ruben Salazar was killed at the Silver Dollar Bar. He was on a break from reporting on the moratorium before being shot in the head with a tear gas canister, the kind cops use for barricades and not crowds. Who is a Chicano? And what is it the Chicanos want? Dignity is a good start. But I also don't think Chicano is a perfect word. Let's face it. There are other brown people at these marches who were never Mexicano either. They are from Guatemala, El Salvador, Puerto Rico, Brazil, all these other places that share a history of colonization and are just as hungry for a seat at the table. The word Chicano also doesn't include Dolores Huerta. I know that when Dolores stands by herself or maybe hangs out with a group of her girlfriends, Virginia Musquiz, Guadalupe Briseño, they can all be called Chicanos. But the second Cesar Chavez or David Sanchez rolls up, they're all Chicanos. Voices, identities are swallowed up and asked to conform to the dominant presence in the room. Wasn't that what we were pushing back against in the first place? What about people like me who question the gender binary, or for a few of my friends who don't even identify with the male or female? They're not Chicano or Chicana. There is no space for us because we're queer. To be marginalized within a marginalized community, it's like getting stepped deeper and deeper into the confines of a messed up Russian doll that's more like an Iron Maiden. And the only thing seen on the outside is another masculine oppressor, but this time it's from our own. Chicano. I'd rather cross out that O, straight up, exit out. Then people could fill it in with whatever they needed. Oh, I can hear it now too. That's not proper Spanish. Proper Spanish is what got us here in the first place. Rude awakening here, if you're using words like cacahuate instead of mani, or nopal instead of cacto, you gave up on proper Spanish from a long while ago too. And don't get me started on avocado. We'll eventually find our palabra perfecta, and let's do it with the inclusion of all our Chicanecos. Thank you.
Yes. Gabby, you ready? All right, all the way from San Diego, a wonderful creative, Gabby Moreno, known as 7 Octobers. Welcome to the night.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to recite my poem, Jaguar Warrior. And before I start, I just want to shout out again, Brenda, Luz, thank you guys and all the contributors that are here tonight and the ones that couldn't make it. Honored to be amongst you. And this goes, and I'm dedicating it to my abuelitos, and I actually have them here with me. So here it goes. And actually, it was a song first. So I have a EP called From Chivala to Atlan. And this is one of the songs that was featured. I actually have some CDs in case you guys want to purchase anything. Okay. La mexicana que nació para grandeza. Si te acuerdas, me llamo Gabriela, la poeta, la mensajera con su trompeta, llena de fuerza, la reina de la selva. Mi mente en otra frecuencia, abierta mi conciencia. No soy de este planeta, sabiduría de una tolteca, sangre de guerrera. Jaguar en mis venas. Soy maya, indígena y azteca. Adelita son mis antepasadas. Emiliano Zapata, una revolucionaria. Dualidad es mi naturaleza. Soy buena y mala, geminiana, gemela y cuata. Soy la verdad, nunca falsa. Me traicionas y habrá venganza. La fantasma con sus barras. Yo hago lo que se me dé la gana. That's what my since the day I was born. I'm prepared for war. I know the score. Keep it coming back for more. The girl who's obsessed with war. I'm nothing to mess with. You've been warned. I'm a jaguar. Got my battle scars. Get my power from the stars. I am a god. Ushe, protejo la madre tierra, la verde frontera, la que nos deja existir sin guerra. Estos poderes son de mis ancestras. Nuestra historia está en las estrellas. El universo inspira mis poemas. Mi corazón y alma en cada letra. Carácter de soldadera. Esta canción se la dedico a mi abuela. Siempre vivirás en mí, Rafaela. Me he convertido en una de tus leyendas, la diosa de las tinieblas, orgullosa de mi cultura, como yo no habrá ninguna. Yo soy única, la reina que adoran en su tumba. Agarro mi energía de la lluvia, a mí nada me asusta. Tus rezos me alumbran, nací para la lucha. Cada pelea gano sin duda. Vengo de un linaje de salvajes, jaguar corre en mi sangre, nunca he sido una cobarde. I do this from the heart, you can hear my pain in every bar. Thank you.
Passing here, 7 October is like drop that in the music flow. So buy the CD. Buy the CD. Let's go retro. Yeah, right on. Carmen Jackie. Yeah. All right, Carmen Jackie, who like migrates north and south all the time because that's how we do, right? That's how my ancestors did. That's right. Welcome to the mic, Carmen Jackie.
I was born in Mexico, raised in San Bernardino, California. And so if I ever publish my big book, I will just put on there, I call the West Coast my home because obviously we gotta go big. So Casino Mamas was born from, I talked to this lawyer at a meeting that Sochi put on for a bunch of writers, and then I was like, well, I really want to make a reality show about my mom. She likes going to casinos. I wanted to coin the name. And she was like, well, you can go hire someone and pay them a lot of money and they can coin it for you. And I was like, I'm broke. And so she was like, you can publish it and that way you coin the phrase. And then one day, if you want to make it a reality show, it'll be yours. That reality show that I want one day of four Hispanic moms going to casinos and having the time of their lives because they deserve it. Okay, I'll just read the first page because I don't want to give a lot away, and some of you need to start reading. So. So, Casino Mamas. Lourdes thought that the only thing better than acquiring the best parking spot in the parking garage was using a free burrito coupon before it expires. And she planned on using every free food bonus from the casino to justify why she didn't stay home to cook something from scratch. In her mind, every dime and peso she could spare was just a little bit more cash that could go onto her casino playing card. Panchita picked up Lourdes on her driveway. She didn't have to knock or even honk because she knew that Lourdes would just be standing out her doorway. Lourdes didn't use GPS tracking to know when Panchita would get there. She just knew. Even when Lourdes and Panchita were, even though Lourdes and Panchita were just cousins, they fought like sisters. They were the only two from their families who lived on this side of the border. Buenas, Panchita said, as Lourdes climbed quickly into the trustee's Toyota Sienna with more than 300K miles on odometer. ¿Qué pasa? Lourdes asked. Because Panchita didn't even have to look up. She was too busy tapping on her cell phone, which was unusual for her because she preferred to talk on her cell. They were both in their late 50s now and reluctantly learned to text, but found a true joy in their life downloading new casino game apps. I need to pick up Nadia, Panchita replied. ¿Por qué? I guess one of the men at the bar grabbed her arm, and so I'm gonna go pick her up. She says she isn't bleeding, but she doesn't feel good. Nadia, Panchita's daughter, started working at the sports bar near the college. It was supposed to be safe and full of mostly young college kids, but lewd men seemed to be drawn to Nadia like a magnet. Panchita thought that her daughter's purple hair, along with the arm tats that she got on her 18th birthday, made her look especially tough. She wondered if her daughter's appearance had anything to do with attracting men that treated her so roughly. Lourdes started to pray. There are some people that pray And they're just talking to God. That is what Lourdes sounds when she prays in Spanish. Her skin around her face gets just tense and almost begins to glow. Lourdes talks so fast and hardly takes a breath when she talks to God. When she finished her prayer, Lourdes noticed that Conchita squeezed her hand when she waited at a stoplight. So she started another prayer, this time to Maria, then to every saint she could remember until they got to the bar.
You can see, Chicanas are not a monolith, like there's so much diversity in our storytelling. We don't have just one style or genre, so thank you so much to all the contributors who've read so far. We're about halfway through. You guys are going to have like a storytelling hangover after this. So stay hydrated. Okay, and have some pozole, that kills the food. I also want to give a shout out just to our, before our next reader, to our vendors who are here. Great to be cold outside. Many of you have commented on the beautiful pieces that I'm wearing today. Designed by Sills, created these pieces, has so many other pieces. Check them out. It's the holiday season. Let's support our gente. And then I also want to give a shout out to Ellie Cara Jewelry, who's right next to Design Stills. Go check out her work. She's actually Erica Ayon's sister, who is one of our contributors, wasn't able to be here tonight. There are so many people dealing with the flu, but go and support and these wonderful creatives. We're creative in so many different ways. With that said, I want to bring up Michael Madre de Letras from the West Coast. Diosa Xochiquetzalcoatl.
Buenas tardes. Luz, muchísimas gracias por haber escogido estas dos piececitas. I'll never forget when you emailed me for my picture. It was in Toluca, my first time in Toluca. De donde somos los Hernández, and I took a picture there in the restaurant, and I was like, smiling. She goes, "Ay, qué bonito vivir." I said, "Yes, you're in Toluca." So, never forget that. Bueno, a lo que te traje. All right. So I'm gonna read you one piece from the anthology, and another piece because. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. When I was a little girl, we had to take my dad's shoes off after a long day at work, even though my mom's day was much, much longer. When I was a teenager, I was pulled out of a restaurant by my ear or flirting with the waiter, while my cousins were encouraged to pursue without a veil. That was When I became an adult, my brother and I took after my grandpa's promiscuous ways. He has always been a player, while I am forever stuck as slut. No, I can melodía. When he is in Mexico, he thinks of me. Well, he always does, pero that's when he actually lets me know. But I know, yo sé, que esos tacos de nopal y esas quesadillas de huitlacoche taste like me. Y que cada que suena un mariachi, his ears begin ringing to the sounds of mine screaming a todo pulmón, con toda mi pasión. I know, yo sé, que al presenciar estas pirámides gloriosas, he is reminded of his diosa, éxtasis encarnada, who lives in a church of her own. Y cuando se tapa con su cobija, be it Mexican or San Marcos, he feels el calor de mi ser acobijándolo, acariciándolo. I know, yo sé, that every time he reads a poem en español, se le nubla la vista entre lágrimas de remordimiento, knowing how he will never again turn a single page in my book.
Yeah. You are the
Diosa's got her books here tonight too, directly behind you on the way to our table in Somos Chicanos, right of Roses. So check them out. It's the holidays. We know you got people to shop for.
Yes.
Right? Don't give your money to Amazon.
That's a great book, yeah.
All the way from Torrance, California. Our local writer, Marissa Cueva. Welcome to the mic.
So honored to be a part of this collection. I had a very long drive from 15 minutes away. I'm a student at Loyola Marymount University. Teaching Latino Studies and Screenwriting. And I wrote this while I was studying abroad in Budapest, Hungary. And traveling through Europe. And it's called Missing the Monarch Butterflies. There are no monarch butterflies here. There are no Mexican flags waving. There are no taqueros in the street. There are no mercaditos on the corner. I miss LA. I miss the monarch butterflies, the migrant butterfly. The one that reminds me of my sweet Tito. Le decían Popeye or bracero. And bracero he was. Strong, brave, hardworking. I stand on this land in complexity and duality. On my two brown feet, los pies de tamalito como me dice mi mamá. On my two brown legs that are shaped differently than theirs. My body is not elegantly thin and tall. I am shaped like the mamis and the abuelitas who shaped me. Bit plumper, softer hugs, and harder hands. I have no history on this land, yet their little espressos and their little cappuccinos would not exist without conquering mine. The tomato on their bruschetta and the avocado on their toast, the nopalitos sitting on their windowsills, and so much more would simply not exist here. I suppose one thing they couldn't steal were the monarch butterflies. Without the monarch butterflies, how am I to know that I'm going the right way? I miss them. The reflection, and it's called La Planeta. Pink light shines through the red umbrella, protecting her from the scorching sun. A blushing haze surrounds my Tita, highlighting the excitement in her eyes. The wide smile on her face. Ahí sentadita entre sus plantas, pelando nopales. Los nopales amargosos saben a la cocina de mi Tita. Saben a afternoons doing my homework on the counter while she cooks. Saben a las canciones de Antonio Aguilar que enamoran mis abuelitos. Nopal llevo en la frente, nopal llevo en el corazón, llevo el corazón espinado, adolorido y ardiendo, sangrando rojo y verde, como las espinas que le quitó a mi tita. Cuando me dice, ven, Mari, tú con tus ojos buenos, tú con tus ojos jóvenes, tú con tus ojos que ven, quítame las espinas, quítame el dolor. Hojas verdes y vibrantes grow out of brown and aged trunk. Nopal creciendo sobre nopal, building on what was established before, what was once just as bright and green. Soy nopalera bien hecha. Yeah.
So technical having gone through the collection, you read the words and then to hear it out loud from these incredible living writers is just such a powerful experience. Thank you so much, Marisa. A bit of a roll call. Is Michelle Mojica here? Michelle, are you here? Did you make it? We didn't meet yet, so I'm like, maybe they are. Next time, la próxima. Bella Santana made it. All the way from Torrance, California. By way of Michigan, right? University of Michigan. Welcome to the mic, Bella Santana.
Yeah, I came back from University of Michigan a week ago. Very happy that I got to be here. Got a chance to leave before this event happened because I really wanted to go. And originally I was supposed to go home on the 17th, but I finished all my homework and I came back. So, I'm reading from the anthology today, actually originally published in my debut chapbook, published by Somos en Escrito. Luz was part of that publishing team. Thank you, Luz. Thank you, Luz. She was one of the publisher or the editors that originally looked my manuscript over and was like, oh, let's publish this. And the rest is history. So you can find my anthology contribution in here and here. And if you want to read more, check me out. Okay, so the poem I'm reading for you guys today is called Manuela Monzon de Mendoza, the poet. Chica tells me that her mother was a poet. She had it all. The dead husband, the alcohol addiction, the insanity. What is my talent then? Generational gift? Generational curse? When I was little, Chica would tell me stories of her mother, the beatings, how grief grabbed her by the neck and stuffed her into a bottle, dragged her away until she couldn't handle her existence. I am eerily similar to Manuela Monzon de Mendoza. The insanity, the fragile balance between tolerating existence and tormenting myself to death. So I Google search, how do you break generational patterns? It seems as if nobody has the answer. Manuela Monzon de Mendoza, you are the shadow I cannot shake off. You're part of me through history. I will never be able to escape you. But God, oh God, I will certainly try. Thank you.
Bella reminds me, I do want to give an acknowledgement for all the work that was done by Somos en Escrito, who was the original publisher that did the call for submission for Somos Chicanas. Once again, Luz, I know Luz is still on the line, Luz Shui, who carried this forward, championed it all the way. Scott Russell Duncan Fernandez is on Zoom right now. Give it up for Scott. And Jenny Itisari as well, who was one of the assistant editors along with Scott and Armando Rendon. So let's give it up for them as well. Lot of energy and people power that put this anthology together to make this come alive today. And so also grateful. Brianna Munoz, I know you're in the house. I saw you. This is one of our booked and busy poets. Was in San Diego yesterday for the Floricanto show and joins us tonight on the mic. Welcome, Brianna.
There's so much energy in this room, and I feel like there's like a lot of healing going on, listening to each other's stories, and it's an honor to be in this anthology, but also be sharing poetry tonight. These two poems are in the anthology. This is titled, I Am an Aztec Dance. My existence is ceremony in the way that I am Lilith, heartbeat rapid as embryo, slower with age. I am an Aztec dance dedicated to the four directions. I am child and woman, warrior, and the ancestors who live through my DNA. I am venado, cautious, light on their feet, antlers, direct line to creator. My existence is fire dance, self-discipline and sacrifice. I am Tezcatlipoca, obsidian-tongued jaguar shapeshifter. As I am Coatlicue, Huitzlochipotli, as I am Xochipilli. I am an Aztec dance, my fingerprints pre-Columbian pictograms, fading with time like my grandmother's erased. I am sweat, water, I am dancing through the pain meditation. This is titled, I grew up going to La Pulga, or the Tianguis, or the Swapits. I grew up going to La Pulga after Daniel Garcia Ordaz. I grew up going to La Pulga every Sunday, where my grandparents sold lanchas y escobas, cantaritos y vestidos de ballet folclorico, sewn by fingers that pushed colorful fabric across 32-stitch machine. My grandma's foot pressed lightly against the pedal in intervals. In Mexico, my grandmother was a nurse. I grew up going to La Pulga and sitting on buckets flipped over while tapping my feet to the music blaring from neighboring vendor booths that sold bootleg NB Rida CDs. I grew up going to La Pulga where one could find a pair of fresh botines or first communion gifts, fruta picada, or caged birds for sale. When us kids wanted spending money, our parents would send us to La Pulga to help our grandparents. All the primos were first introduced to business in this manner, or perhaps survival. I grew up going to La Pulga, observing men colognes and suited in tejanas, wearing their ladies on their arm. Later, they'd dance at Quebradita at the Friday night baile. My grandma had nicknames for every regular here. El Jotito, Doña Piojos, La Señora. It was at La Pulga when attending to my grandparents' customers where I learned that my Spanish skills were at a level of someone considered to be pocha.
I grew up going to La Pulga where my domingo, a term for allowance, would be spent at the toy vendor booth once earned after a long day's hard work. That's
Oh, yeah, Piojos, I love that line. Every time I threw it, I was laughing. Our next poet, all the way from San Diego as well, who I got to meet for the first time in San Francisco at the San Francisco Lit Crawl, when we read together as Somos Chicanas. I think it was like 5 of us. You're gonna enjoy her work. Natalia Rivas, welcome to the mic.
Doctora Vaca, you're on.
I don't know. I've been listening to everybody and I'm thrilled to be here with such vibrant, wonderful wordsmiths. Totally. The poetry you guys have read has been personal. I'm going, shit, what I got in here. So I do have one, and I wrote it, when I was 13 or 14, I thought I was a smarty pants, and I was blown out because I got to be, how do we say it? Indoctrinated into revolutionary ways. I've always been into power to the people and all that. I'm really old, I'm 73 now, 70 old. And this is, I skipped the time at really hard. Okay, so here it goes. I wanted to be a revolutionary when I was 13 in Roseville, California. It was the early 60s. There were 2 young vatos ready to share, wearing brown berets and khakis, shoulders fat and proud, pants sharply creased, bien fajados, you know the kind. Hey. Those were the brown berets back then, by the way. Dark sunglasses tucked into their shirt jacket. They spoke of history full of indigenous greatness, of libraries burned and destroyed at the start of this occupation, of pride of our brown skin in the midst of white oppression. My heart heard truth. I wanted to be a truth commandante, as a matter of fact, hearing the calm of infinite ancestors when they spoke. But I lived with not dared dreams and forever poverty, constantly moving between Roseville and Sacramento with no place to call my own. Sometimes just a couch from one relative to another, learning to survive in a beastly manner, a throwaway kid. 3 years later, these brown berets walked into the halls of Sacramento High School, offering possibilities. I jumped in, I was ready to revolt, went to the marches with commitment, demanding, creating, knowing, revolt against I was learning that I had power with my brain. I didn't know. I wanted to stop the ticking of futility smiling through a billow of despair. My mind had opened to a different ending, empowered by the profound belief that we could and we can be the guides beyond communal drudgery. Las mañanitas really remind me, hey, you're 73. Well, but how I flow in old age, I have felt, now I flow in old age, but I have felt the reality shift in complete silence, spirals in more than once, fragile control breaking, acquiring different roles, lost child, mother, addict, worker, partner, poet, and I've traveled the hemisphere looking for my soul. Lost in perpetual myth, mending the walls once draped in fear, retracing my steps to my heart. In my heart, I found the 13-year-old again. Believing believing that beyond the lies that continue to consume our air, not afraid to commune with cosmic inheritance, not afraid of the creative light of our magic. Brown berets continue planting hope, woven by indigenous roots, both grounded and on earth, attuned to the truth revealed. Viva la raza. Okay, this other poem that I want to make it real political.
All right.
Okay, are you okay? Yeah. All right. I call it Border Town. Border Town, San Diego. I wrote it in honor of Chicano Park Day. I got to read there this year and I was thinking, this is the poem that I wrote to them. Clamor ascends into the sky, the scent of shipyards swallowing the air, leaving chemicals eroding the atmosphere. Brown-skinned and boisterous busy streets, shopping bags filled with tamarindo, mango, verduras, magic and sage. Mariachi serenading sturdy flowers pushing through cement, displaying the strength and beauty. A mother sitting on a chair with the cosmos in her eyes, tenderly stroking her child's face, sleeping on her chest. Cantinas, boozy and loud, blasting sordid tales of raunchy nights with pleasant kisses, tasting like beer and mint gum. Thundering, beastly cars riding low, riding slow. Tres Flores air freshener and Pachuco swagger growling. As finely clad compas narrate the cost of extraterrestrial travel by discussing ancestral rules and regulations. Los vatos that hang in the park, not in unison, acknowledging the day. The pleasant taste of a cuchela, chiflando at the frutas passing by. The chavalas, they just stood there, they looked back and said, we have no time for locals today. Amate colorfully displaying, piñata swinging above sight, slightly swaying, awaiting the blows, striking abundant showering. The voice of the people marching, waving righteous flags to protect humanity from being destroyed. Pain dragged through centuries in perpetual grief. Dismay greets truth to poverty, vulgar in its display. Random violence, patience sucking the life source, leaving poisoned imprints, stop signs at every corner. Vulgarity dresses up cheerful in appearance, but deadly in its flow, by deadbeat politicians slowly grinding their teeth into false smilings, reminding us to pay our taxes, do our time, die on the installment plan as they dine on the future. With perpetual ads, always ads, blasting our brains into submission so we forget. So there it is. All the ingredients. Sweet, bitter, sour, and salty. The pot stirred, ready with cosmic memories wrapped in surprise and intention. Ready for the drums to start, ready for the sage to burn, ready for the next indicated evolution. Revolution is indigenous righteousness, tribal roots, weaving our journey with poetry and art. Can you feel our ancestors? Yeah. Can you hear our ancestors? Yeah. Call out in timeless urgency, calling out from the place where logic is astral, calling to us to stand like warriors. Stand like warriors. Warriors stand. Thank you. Yeah.
It's like back-to-back Rivas right now. All the way from Riverside, California. Welcome to the Mari Doctora Marta Rivas.
How are we feeling? So it's like, it's been a while, but it's good energy and vaya arriba. So we have a bit of time, but I'm just gonna share with you, as a writer, I often don't think of audience. Right, as a writer, I just think of, let me just get into my thought and my energies, and my two daughters, one Inez, who was my colleague, she was born in Hollywood. Yeah, you say, Ched, I often tell them, when mama's writing, just let me flow. Like, I can't be interrupted, because then I have to respect the energy. But this particular, there's two pieces in the anthology. I'm blessed, again, Luz and Brenda, thank you for your guidance in making this historic. It's a historic tool. I often say it's how we preserve our resilience and our knowledge, but this particular, one of the two that's in here is titled Chicana. I wrote it as in a response to the question, what does Chicana mean to you? And it evoked all the memories, because I've been teaching Chicana, Chicanx studies for 25 years. I know it looks like I started when I was 5, but yeah, I was 50, and so I've been teaching for 25 years, and year after year, 300 students per year, un chingo. And every year siempre llegan con, are you gonna teach us what Chicana means? And then secondly, they all ask me, can I call myself Chicana? And so year after year, cada año, and also I'm a community organizer, so speaking with community, también preguntan lo mismo. Working with educators, administrators, they often ask, like, how do you know about this movement? How do you know about the Chicano movement affecting education? And let me tell you, mentored by San Castro and the name Solórzano and Isabella Maria Sanchez, I know a thing about radical reform. But how can we do this all the time? And so that's why I am so honored that this book is out, because we're sharing this knowledge. And so for this one, I did have the audience in mind. It was this whole history of me experiencing this question that people, our community, are so asking, because this is precisely why this anthology is so important. And we're not gonna allow, and we're not gonna showcase how important it is until we tell it. We have to remind people how important this is for our communities. And so this piece is titled Chicana. Listen, I was born in Zamora, Michoacán, Mexico, en aquel febrero de 1979. Pero a los 3 añitos me trajeron como la persona no sé quién. Allá por un carro cruzando la línea allá por Tijuana. I often tell folks that was the only time I've been to TJ. That or that other time, remember spring break, Rosarito, 98? De ese ya después después. Pero soy chicana. See, I'm gonna have to redefine all these definitions and labels and requirements and todo they formalized, institutionalized, and imposed upon us. This process to call ourselves as one label or another, still colonial. But this process of naming simply coincides with the fluidity of language. Pero many folks want to keep us distracted and derogadas. Pero se llama historical amnesia and cultural schizophrenia. Google it. Luego después les escribo de todo eso. All this informs my Chicananess. Y yes, we create and use terminology que nos da la gana. I was raised in these lands. Acá los que les llaman estadounidenses, and trust me, I had to Google and spell check that porque my Spanish is what they call pocha still. Sombra nos dicen norteñas. Pero I just say mexicana telonera acá en el norte. País bien centrada. Corazón rosa mexicano, brillante, ardiente, así como que nos regaló Ramón Balosiera presente. But what I meant to say is, soy chicana, because I carry the responsibility to keep fighting straight up. We remind ourselves again to learn our history, but also the historicity of our gente. Historicity is for us to see and learn and sense and feel again and learn again and all that again. About how our gente have been here, and they've been here for hundreds and thousands of years, you see. We have a responsibility to know how our gente experienced history. What we saw, what we felt, what we loved, what we endured, but mostly how resilient and brilliant and strong our gente will always be. Y por eso misma soy chicana with the next. Always inspired by Malcolm X, because we all still hold the responsibility to remind ourselves of our collective fight. The political, historical, social, y todo aquello. Shit that still keeps hurting us intentionally for profit. It is our turn to speak.
Chicana was birthed out of resilience, not just resistance, for the reclamation of our indigeneity, for the fight to express our identity, for the right to be seen. Chicana raíz, como el maíz, runs deep. So I'm that type of Chicana, de Califas, la que no se olvida. We stand on land that once was Mexico and indigenous prior and always. Gracias.
You know, reading this book and hearing it out loud, it's an education, right? I learned so many words. I feel like my brain grew, going through the collection Historicity. I love that. So she ready? My sister from Women Who Submit, an amazing writer. Welcome to the mic, Xochitl Julissa Bermejo. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Okay. Thank you. I kept looking behind, like, oh man, this crowd's great. Like others, I just want to echo, like, I want to thank Luz for, you know, creating this space and these pages with the other editors. I want to thank Brenda for taking up the torch and like, I was excited when I was like, okay, you know, like, I also want to thank Luz for this space that we can gather in, like, I just feel so at home, y'all, like hearing everyone's voices, having the Virgencita with us, flowers, you know, this artistry work, the pozole. I'm just like, man, I feel like in church, like out there. And I just love it so much. So thank you for everyone who made this possible. Also the Rite of Roses, your girl gang, I love them. I love them. And so these are gonna be love poems. And this poem is about a dude, and I read it to him, he was like, that's a bunch of smut. What do you think it's funny? I've been like perpetually single. I've been dating for 25 years. Also, right, I started dating at 5. And so these love poems are really me trying to figure out like what is love, like what is, you know, I'm basically been doing it for 25 years. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know shit. So here are 2 little smutty poems for y'all. This one has a quote from Sonia Sanchez. You are tattooed on the soft, round parts of me. That's from Sonia Sanchez. When I wince. In the late lamplight, you ask me to pose. Look here, you say. Lens pointed my way. I picture rolls folded over rolls, but I roll into position anyway. You look at the image in your hand and mumble something like, I can't believe how beautiful. You don't finish the thought and drop the phone so fast, I think I must be ugly. This is what it's like to love the tender parts of me. A sharp point dragging across hot skin. How long can you or I stand it? After we make love, I flip on my phone to find you sent me the image. A 6-second video of a woman soft and round in yellow light, her smile innocent as brown tendrils fawning over her shoulders. How do you touch what I mean to keep hidden? And I did 2 books of poetry, and in the last one, there's a poem that's called The Ways Men Use Me. And so a lot of healing, right? A lot of therapy, a lot of recovery work. So this is kind of a response to that. Making amends to myself for letting men use me. I apologize for not believing I was more than my body. I forgive myself for not believing I was more than my body. I apologize for believing I was ugly, for hating my belly and big nose, my big butt and curly hair. I apologize for not valuing my big butt and curly hair until a man deemed them desirable. I apologize for believing all I had to offer
was a big butt and curly hair. I forgive myself for wanting my big butt and curly hair to be enough. Thank you.
On our last contributor, Dr. Vanessa Bustamonte, known as Homegirl Doctora. Welcome to the mic.
You didn't say I was from the A1E. From the A1E. But thank you. I want to first off thank Somos Chicana, Brenda, Luz, everyone, Rex Rhodes Publishing, also to my comrade, Scott Russell Duncan from the Raza Unida Party, longstanding member, who actually tapped me on the shoulder to submit. So thank you, Scott. I know you were on the Zoom, don't know if you're still there. I also want to thank my parents. My parents are here, my mom and dad. I have a lot of people that love me. My friend Diana's here from Austin. Yeah. My friend Laura drove all the way from San Diego, and my homegirl Haley is on the line from San Diego as well. So thank you all for coming out, showing out. I wrote this for this submission. I don't know, but I heard some of y'all like, I'm really excited. This is my first published work. And for it to teach me, it's almost Chicanas, like, damn, how chingona is that? Like, you know, I mean, I have a published dissertation, obviously, right? I have a doctorate. But like, to me, this is my proud moment because this is something that came from my heart. It wasn't regulated by a system. It wasn't regulated by an institution telling me what to write and how to write it. This is something that came from me, from my heart, from my people, for the struggles that I've seen my communities face day in and day out. So I'm gonna read the one that I published in here, and I have another one as well. It's called Chicana Fire, Fight and Liberation. When will you see we were made differently? Indigenous blood flows through me, igniting thoughts, visions, and ceremonial healing. Consistently left bewildered by the colonizer's mistreatment, still my indigenous blood pumps throughout my body, creating an uproar for change in society. Committed to creating liberation and self-determination for the people, I continue to fight, continue to rise. Chicana, a whole political ideology, shared struggle and leading the fight because it's our right. Heart full of fire and grounded in her love for her people. She is leader, advocate, and organizer. She is Chicana. La mera mera, la jefa. So in La Raza Unida, I had the opportunity to go to Mexico City for Chicanexing Fronteras event, Encuentro Chicano this past year, and I wrote a poem on my way there in Spanish. Spanish is my first language. I actually started in ESL when I was a child, but with the educational system, I was actually very anxious to speak in Spanish in Mexico City because, you know, a lot of us will say we speak pocha, we speak broken. So I wanted to challenge myself and write something in Spanish. So it's called Chicana Poderosa. Camino de Chicana, ella, la soldada, guerrera fina, mujer de piedra, honra la luz, el destino, su senda. Llama a los ancestros, tu voz los despierta. La luna la guía, en ella se orienta. Es tiempo de estar bien alerta, para rifar, en la lucha se encuentra. Ella es la soldada, la más adecuada. Para esta batalla está preparada. Comandante firme, lista en su guerra. Su meta es elevar a su tierra. Como ella no hay muchas, fuertes y puras.
Tonantzin, Coatlicue y todas las curas. Las diosas la guían, la respaldan sin tregua. En su momento, su lucha es la nuestra. Dime chicana, dime chingona, ahora qué harás si eres la zona. La revolución la llevas en mano, guiada de amor con todo el ancestro mexicano. Ya llegó la águila, el jaguar, el colibrí. La mariposa también está aquí. Esta es la época, tiempo de sanar. La chicana al frente, tu barrio a elevar.
I'm saying that you're gonna put this out, I guess. I just want to say,
To your point, it's time to change, it's time to transform. There's so many Chicanas Poderosas in here. You know, I would invite you to come into La Raza Unida. I'm the first female chair of the Partido de la Raza Unida nationally. We're in 12 different states now, and 5 of our states, our women are leading each state as the state representatives. And we are definitely evolving with the times, and I think it's time to ignite the Chican nation. Drop the A, the O, and the X. Leave it Chican. So thank you.
Before we all, I invite the contributors all up for a picture. We're gonna have one last closing song. Thank you all to everybody for holding it down. So make your way on up, Indica. I do want to give a shout out because I see her standing over there. This book would not have come to life if it were not for our layout designer who burned the midnight oil like day after day. So I want to give it up for Emily Ann Evans, who's right up over there. Emily is a magician, a master at what she does. She is for hire, hit her up. She's down to design your books. Okay, and Emily, thank you so much for letting me bug you at midnight. What can I say? All right, Indica, you're up, girl. And then get ready, contributors, we're gonna take a big group photo.
Sorry. Another theme song. It's about my mom. I miss you, Mama. I love you. She's still here with us, but we're not close, but, it's called, you know, Nice to See. I can save you. Inside of you. No, they say you don't need eyes. You don't need eyes. Say, just for me. Then I can't do anything but accept you. Doesn't know anything but, man, I gotta give you some room. I can't break my bed. I can't break you. It's not that thing. It's a kind of nothing but a satisfied. Don't wanna waste my time. Don't sleep.
Thank you, Indica. All right, contributors, if you can make your way up so we can take a big group photo, it'd be awesome. Thank you, Indica.
Hold on. Contributors, if you would like to have a concert and reading, you will. With the libro, with the solos chicanas anthology, come meet us at the front. Jorge Pineda will be taking your portrait. I would like to so please, don't let me back that pozole that I've been cooking since 6 o'clock in the morning. So, example.
And then I will.
Congratulations, everybody. Comparte las galletitas.
Yes, they have enough.
Eran más de ocho.
Rosalia Mendoza, did she?
I think she did. She was early, or she was, I had another kid, that's why we have her. One of the first. Of course. What's
Okay, so she's a, so, does she teach at Stanford?
She doesn't teach, she's taking classes at Stanford.
Oh,
so
she's
she's
like graduated from there. How would I?
Hey, hit her up on, I would say Instagram or something like that, if you follow her. The Valley.
Okay. Oh, okay, Lily of the Valley.
Yeah.
And thank you for putting all this together.
Thanks for being here. But we turn this one off. We're still on Zoom. Good night, everybody. Hey, El Paso's there. You want to say something? Despedir el mundo, ¿no? Thank you for coming. Aquí andamos.